Na 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 na. Aces and eights, goodbye. Na 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 na. Aces and eights, rest in peace. Hello, everybody. Zack Attack is here at my TNA Turning Point Impact Wrestling review for this Thursday evening, November 21st, 2013. Back in Orlando in the new and improved Impact Zone. It's not the same Impact Zone they taped in, but still. They're back in Orlando, back in Universal Studios. Decent crowd. I think it was the most rowdies I've ever seen the Orlando crowd ever been in a while. Nice. I hate the fact back in Orlando, but the crowd's decent. I hope the crowd's this decent when they're back every week now in Orlando now. Tonight's Impact, this Turning Point event. A decent show tonight. Great matches in the TNA tourney, especially the match between Storm and Rude, despite the ending. As you would see on the title of the video, and of course the song I sang to begin this video, we saw a group finally break up for real. But as we tell you how they collided and ran down here, let's start from the beginning of tonight's show. That was the end of the show. Let's start at the beginning of the show with, of course, a recap of what I talked about on my Tech Sports today. About Storm and Rude getting ready for the match this evening. Last night, Storm got ambushed in a ball as part of the Impact 365 video shoot. And that's what I've been reading on for years. I wanted something like this Impact 365 camera to shoot Impact guys outside the ring fighting, like what happened with Rude and Storm. Rude in a ball attacking Storm. And we begin with Dixie Carter talking about, being back in Orlando. And as she was talking about Turning Point and all this stuff. And of course, AJ Styles being an ignorant, no good bastard. But he being his company, being a champion, not champion. Storm interrupted Dixie in a speech. He's like, listen, Dixie, I'm supposed to be in this blow-up match tonight with Bobby Roode. But I would have beat him up more with more than just a boom. I may be after what he did last night. I would beat him up more with weapons, ladders, and chairs. Oh my! I want a Florida street fight. A Florida death match, should I say. And Dixie was a little bit hesitant until Storm's like, listen, Dixie, I did not press charges on Rude last night for assault and battery in a ball because I want to beat him up in the ring. But if you don't give me my match that I want, I know your little wheel Dixie made this blow-up match step. I want this Texas death match, this Florida death match, or I will call the cops. I will charge Rude. I'll put Rude in jail, and there will be no match for your little Impact tonight. With that persuasion, Dixie had no other choice but to book the match, to change the step from the blow-up match to the Florida street fight, which I think was a good trade-off. The Texas blow-up match would have been violent as well, but now they got changed to the Florida death match. I thought it was going to be a great match, and it was. The ending was kind of screwy. But before we get to that match, we got another quarterfinal in the TNA tournament to think about. Of course, Rude and Storm's part of that quarterfinal. We have quarter match number 1. Kurt Angle's opponent for his semifinal would be revealed in this matchup. Magnus and Samoa Joe in a Falls Count Anywhere match. 4 Main Event Mafia members collide. Now, Magnus came out to the ring first, but Samoa Joe was like, listen, Magnus, he was on the screen. I'm in the back. This is Falls Count Anywhere, right? And I'm in the back. And I want to beat you up in the back. Because it's Falls Count Anywhere. So they started out from the back of the new and improved Impact Zone. They beat him in the back. Some vicious action in the back. It was a decent start with some great violent weapons were used, which would be the theme of the evening, with weapons being used in the Storm Rude match as well. And it was kind of back and forth with Joe getting advantage early on, really dominating and using his weight advantage all over Magnus until, indeed, Magnus came storming back with some nasty moves, and they fought all the way back to the front, all the way back to the ringside area. And then went back to the back again when they went back to the ring area. They started destroying each other on the steps area and all over the ring area. Even Joe put him in a chokehold like a Nikita clutch because it was false count anyway. And submission counts too. And the ending was kind of sudden of this match. It's a decent opener, you know. Joe and Magnus formed partners. They formed Main Event Mafia people. They had a decent matchup. It was more violent, but I think they were saving that for the Storm Wood match, as we would see in that match. Like I said, Joe used his advantage with the weight advantage, but of course Magnus was smart. As Magnus got back in the ring with Joe after Joe was trying to put him up with the sleeper hold. Joe was going for a big move to ram Magnus against the barricade, against the turnbuckle. Magnus dunked it, and Joe, who had a chair on that turnbuckle, hit his head right on that turnbuckle. And after the head hit, Magnus rolled him up to the 1-2-3 victory. The ending was kind of sudden. You know, it was like Joe had his head on the chair, and it was like pin and win. It was a quick matchup. It was an okay matchup to begin. Impact tonight, I wish it was longer. I know it was like a 2-hour show, and I wish it was more violent, but I think they were saving that for the Wood Storm match. So Magnus wins. Magnus makes the semis against Kurt Angle. Now, how ironic is this? Magnus, in my mind, I thought he was going to win the Bound for Glory series. He made it all the way to the Bound for Glory series final. He lost. Who did he lose to? Who did he lose that match to in the finals of the Bound for Glory series? AJ Styles. Who walked out on TNA with the TNA World Championship and walking out unofficially the champ? AJ Styles. Who's in the semifinals to compete for the title that AJ walked out with to declare a new champion? Magnus. How weird is it that Magnus has an opportunity now to do what he should have been, the world champion, and take the title from the man he walked out on TNA that beat Magnus for the opportunity. AJ was the one that beat AJ. AJ was one to beat Magnus in the Bound for Glory series final to get the opportunity to get the TNA title and walk out of the company. How ironic is it that Magnus could be the new champion replacing AJ and then he lost in the Bound for Glory series final? How ironic would that be? As we wait for that ironic with Angle and Magnus, that match isn't next week. It'll be, I'm guessing, in 2 weeks. Because we already have a main event for next week's Impact for Thanksgiving. Before we get to my announcement of that, Dixie's announcement of that match later on in the evening, we got 2 open challenges. Well, I knew this segment was going to suck, and boy, was I right. From the moment this challenge was made last week, I was like, how the fuck are they going to pull this off without being stupid? And they pulled the stupid route. Joseph Park challenges brother Abyss. If you've been watching my videos for the last year with Joseph Park being around, I've been saying it for the same weeks. Joseph Park is Abyss. Abyss is Joseph Park. How in the hell are they going to pull this off without being lame? Are they going to have someone dress up like Abyss? Well, it was kind of a stupid segment. Bad Influence saved the fucking segment, in my opinion. Bad Influence came out to watch the so-called match that never happened. And, you know, Joseph Paul came out and he's like, come on out of this. And they played his theme twice. He never came out. Because they're both the same guy. And it was like stupid and Bad Influence got into the ring. He's like, Joseph Punk, the reason why your brother's not here is because you are Abyss. I mean, you are a failure. So, you know, he's like, they've been bullying. You've been seeing this feud between Bad Influence and Joseph Punk for weeks, making fun of him for being a fat chubby lord and a piece of shit. You know, every insult in the book they made about Joseph Punk. And they're like, hey, Joseph, every time you see blood, you get cut up, you turn into a man. Really, a man. So they dumped a bucket of blood on him to try to encourage him to get the psycho out like he always does when he sees blood. But he didn't. He walked out covered in blood and he walked out. I thought it was an excuse for him to come back later as a this, but that never happened. So is this the end of Joseph Paul character? Who knows? But it was a stupid segment. I knew it was going to end badly, and I didn't know it was going to end this badly. So with that so-called challenge done, we had another open challenge. Gail Kim's open challenge to any other female wrestler outside of TNA continued. We saw the debut of it last week against Hannah Blossom for the UK. This week, the latest opponent, is Candice LeRae. Now, Candice, she was cute though, and she did show some okay wrestling ability. She had some okay offense, but I knew it was going to be once again an exhibition for the TNA Knockouts champion. Of course, the woman who would beat Gail would get a title match, but this woman literally ate defeat. As Gail came without the help of a little bodyguard or security policy or insurance policy, should I say, Lady Tapa, Gail Kim got the easy victory over Candice. Like I said, Candice has some okay offense. I don't know if Candice will ever come back to TNA, but still, she ate that feat. And Gail Kim, second week in a row, defeating the woman who would accept an open challenge. I don't know how long this open challenge is going to be, but I've seen this before. TNA likes to whip off WWE. I've always said on my show. But TNA whipping up WWE. WWE had these open challenge things, and TNA's had these open challenge types too, and they had that one shocking person come out of nowhere and pin the person issuing the challenge. So it won't be long till, I don't know how long it's going to be till somebody actually beats Gail. Maybe 2 months. But we'll see how long this open challenge lasts until Gail gets beaten. So Gail 2-0 in this open challenge. Now, on with our Florida Deathmatch. By the way, before I get to the Florida Deathmatch, I think Candice had a mishap tonight. A botch, should I say. I think Candice was going for like a big warning move against Gail on the turnbuckle. I think Candice tripped and she had to do it again. To Gail on the turnbuckle, I think she missed the cue. She tripped, I think. Botchamania. Speaking of Botchamania, did anyone notice that Christine Hemi's dress was see-through tonight? You can see her boobies. Like her black dress was see-through tonight. Anyway, now on to the Florida Deathmatch that James Storm demanded. Storm met up with Gunner before the match, and Gunner was like, "Are you sure you want to do this?" And Storm's like, "I want to." And Gunner was like, "Well, I have your back." Well, unfortunately for us, as I mentioned with the ending sucking, Gunner didn't have his back. But despite the ending, which I'll get to, the match itself was bloody violent and good. Very violent matchup between these guys. There was a lot of cool spots in this matchup. Storm White went wide after Wood, wanting revenge, but Wood cut him up pretty badly, and Wood pretty much carried most of the matchup and beat up Storm most of the matchup, nailing him. But of course, Storm came flying back with some big moves of his own, making Wood jump over the barricade, and a couple good spots in this. Spot number 1. When Storm put the trash can in between Wood's Netherlands and nailed the Kindle stick to that trash can between his nether regions. Like, boing! Like, boing! Ooh! That was a cool spot. My other favorite spot was the battle of the trash can lids. That was my other favorite spot. It was a funny spot. Like, each guy was nailing each other with the trash can lids. You know, like, it was like a Three Stooges sketch or something. Like, one would nail each other, one would nail the other with that. It's like back and forth with the trash can lids. They both knock each other out with both each other's trash cans in the end. Like, Storm and Root hit each other with each other's trash can lids and knock both out. That was a funny spot. It's like knock each other out. That was funny. That was a funny and good spot. And it was pretty intense, pretty violent matchup. And Storm kept coming back, and he got like that surprise super kick. And of course, this match is kind of like a last man standing match. It's like you beat up your opponent until they won't get up to a count of 10. It's kind of like a last man standing match, but they call it a Florida Death match. Because I guess WWE trademarks the last man standing name. And as Wood was taking over control, especially that surprise super kick, and really taking it to Storm, taking it to Wood, after that last minute super kick, that's when Storm was on the beatdown of Rude. Rude ran underneath the ring, grabbed a beer can, the same beer can he took out Storm to be the TNA World Champion 2 years ago. He nailed Storm with the beer can, and then he just destroyed Storm. Despite Rude just nailing Storm with crutches and begging him, die, die, stand down. Storm would not give up. He kept getting up for more punishment despite not being in the condition to get up and fight over. But as Storm kept on getting up, despite all the punishment dealt to him by Mr. Rude, Rude was going to have the ultimate punishment of all. Now, this is the ending. Rude, Storm kept saying in his promo, we're going to use barbed wire in this matchup. Well, there was a barbed wire board underneath the ring, and Rude pulled it out. And as Rude was going to pull a big move on Storm on this barbed wire board, Gunner came out and threw the towel in for Storm. And that was the end of the matchup. Fuck you, Gunner. I hate you, Gunner, right now. You know, James Storm says it was supposed to be barbed wire in the matchup, and that's where the ending sucked. The ending sucked for two reasons. One, the match ended with someone throwing in the towel. And two, the ending came with Gunner interrupting what would have been the best spot in the matchup. The barbed wire slam. That would have been awesome. But Gunner wanted to... I think they purposely made Gunner throw the towel in because they didn't want that violence on television. You know, they TV14 my ass. They don't want to use barbed wire. Fuck them. And Storm was very pissed at Gunner for throwing in the towel because that means Rude would advance in the semifinals against Jeff Hardy. That means the Rude Angle Finals is one victory away from both these guys. So, Gunner got the brunt of the bitching from Storm. Now, we got these two semifinals matches made, Angle Magnus and Rude and Hardy. Now, semifinals will be next week. They'll be in 2 weeks, I'm guessing, because the main event, I mentioned, the main event for next week's Impact is made tonight. Angle and Rude would captain two teams of eight-man tag elimination, or as we call it, a Survivor Series match. Like I mentioned earlier about TNA whipping up WWE, they're having their own little Survivor Series match. An 8-man elimination tag match, Team Rude against Team Angle. We don't know who's on the teams yet. We'll find out next week. So that's the main event of next week's Thanksgiving Impact. Now over to the next matchup. EC3, Ethan Carter III. Now we saw with his usual jobbers, Phil Dunham and the other guy. And he's like, listen, I'm going to try to sum up my challenge. I'm going to get bigger competition tonight. I'm facing returning TNA legend tonight. I was like, yeah, why? It's like some TNA legends coming back? Yeah, why? It's not going to be like someone we want to see. It's going to be someone stupid that's going to job to Mr. Carter III. It's going to be like someone stupid like Shark Boy. I was only kidding! I was only kidding it to be Shark Boy. And it actually was Shark Boy against Ethan Carter III. It was nice to see Shark Boy back, but we all knew the ending. 1%er. Move on. Ethan Carter, you say the world needs you and your auntie. The world needs you to really get some balls and face some real competition. And get your ass beat, boy. Stop jobbing. Stop having people job to you. Like the Shark Boys. You know, I know they're trying to build them up, but come on, it's been a month now. Can you face someone like Kurt Angle and get his ass beat? And his undefeated streak be over? So there you go. Now, speaking of Angle, Angle was kind of involved, well, watching with eagle eyes with many other people a main event with big implications. A no DQ match. Mr. Anderson taking on Bully Ray with Mr. Anderson's career on the line of TNA and the future of Ace and Eights in doubt as well. Well, you know the title, but let's discuss the match. I think this match should have used more weapons. But I think since they already used a lot of weapons in the Rude Storm match, it was like, okay, that'll use a lot of weapons here. But the match started off viciously enough as JB was introducing the combatants. There was like a bunch of people on the ramp watching, a lot of heels and good guys watching the match from the ramp. They didn't get involved in the match, but they just watched with eager eyes about what was going to happen, if Anderson was going to be gone or bring up an ace and eights. So they're doing an introduction, and then Bully Ray was introduced, and then Mr. Anderson's about to get introduced, and he just ran straight for Bully Ray, beat him up, and he took the mic. He was like, Mr. Anderson. Anderson came out, like I said, from the front, beating up Bully Ray to begin with, nailing him. I think he missed after he said Mr. Anderson the first time, he was going for a low blow, but he missed. He kind of missed the mark, so he did it a second time, and it connected. That's when he said Anderson again. But after that initial beatdown, that's when Bully Ray came to life. After Anderson's early fury, Bully used Brooke, his little girly friend, as a shield to protect him from Anderson. That's when Bully took control for the most of the matchup. The later half of the matchup, with Bully Ray taking advantage of his big, muscular ways and beating up on Anderson outside the ring, near him against the steps, and trying to nail him with some chairs, and beating him with the chain as well. And he was really taking advantage of his weight advantage. And Anderson came flying back. He was trying to do what he did to Bischoff last week, trying to power drive Bully Ray. But Nux came in, the only remaining member of Ace and Eights left, besides Taz at the time. And Nux got taken out by Anderson, despite Nux's interference. And then he took Nux literally out of the match by power driving Nux on the floor like he did to Bischoff. Like I said, he was trying to do that to Bully, but Nux got the power driver instead. And he took out Nux's cut, which would be a sign of things to come. After that, Bully Ray tried to come up from behind, and indeed beat up on Anderson again. Anderson went up for a big bomb, a can't bomb for two, going up for a mic check, but then Bully Ray ran him against a table set up against the turnbuckle. That was a decent spot in that match. But then as Bully Ray was getting control, after he took out Anderson with the table, Bully Ray was sensing the end, and he asked Brooke to grab the hammer from Taz at the announce desk. So Brooke threw the hammer to the ring. Like, here's the hammer. I'm just using this as an example. Sorry. I got this from more gigs today. So here's Brooke throwing the hammer, and it came up in the air, but instead of the hammer landing in the hands of Bully Ray, the hammer flew over Bully Ray's head, landed in the hands of Anderson. So if Anderson got the bull hammer, bam! Nailed Bully Ray with the bull hammer, a weapon that Bully Ray has used many times to retain his title. And Anderson, after that bull hammer shot, rest in peace. 1, 2, 3. Ace and eights. Like I said in the beginning of the video. Na 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 na. Na 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 na. Aces and eights. Goodbye. Different key than the beginning, but still. Ace and eights go bye-bye. And they took off Bully Ray's cut. Anderson took off Bully Ray's cut. And all the face guys like Angle and Donner and Joe, all the babyface guys on the ramp, they went to Taz. They took Taz's cut up. It was a huge celebration that finally, for real, after that fake breakup last 2 weeks ago, Ace is finally done. For real, we hope. There's supposed to be this food war next week on Impact with Anderson presiding. So, nice to see Ace finally done. I said on my Attack Sports today, where I see certain factions, when you have like, the reason why NWO and Nexus went down, I said on my Attack Sports today, is because it only revolved around one person. The Nexus revolved all around Wade Barrett. And not about anybody else. And that's how Ace and H went down. Once Bully Ray was revealed as president, it revolved all around Bully, and it went downhill from there. It had a slow demise since April. It was slow but sure that Ace and H would break up. It got sick, it got tiring, it got bloated, and it got old pretty quick. So I'm glad that finally, after over a year, Ace and H go bye-bye. And that's why I said on my Attack Sports, you see groups like the Shield last longer. It's because Shield don't have a de facto leader that revolves all around them. They're equal. Ace and Eights were equal until Bully Ray made the group all about himself. And that's why Ace and Eights went down. And that's why I'm glad that finally Ace and Eights are broken up. Until the next faction comes and tries to ruin TNA again like Ace and Eights did for the last year or so. So goodbye Ace and Eights. And good riddance. We'll see what happens from here. Like how will everybody from Ace and Eights do separately? How will Bischoff do separately? How will Nux do? And of course, how will Bully Ray feel now that it has to be separate again? It has to be alone again. And is he going to punish Brooke for hitting him with the hammer? Is he going to break up with her? We'll see how that happens next week on Impact on Thanksgiving with Team Wood and Team Angle. And in Survivor Series, I mean an 8-man elimination match with Team Wood and Team Angle and Anderson besides the funeral for Ace and Eights. That is it for the Impact Wrestling review for this week. Thank you all very much for watching. With that in mind, you've all been attacked by the review from Zach. Have a great weekend, everybody. See ya later. Yeah.